Welcome to the PT Legends podcast, where co-host Dave Bess and myself, Scott Carpenter, share our journey and secrets of success. From our humble beginnings as personal training employees of a big box gym to struggling studio owners that have made every mistake in the book, to where we are now, the owners of a multi-seven-figure business operating multiple personal training studios internationally, and now coach and mentor to fitness professionals in 5 countries and counting. This is our story, and these are our secrets. Subscribe to our podcast, learn, take action, and build your own fitness empire. Welcome everyone back to the PT Legends Show. In this episode, we're going to take you behind the scenes into our group as we teach our fitness entrepreneurs our 3-step framework to build, sell, fulfill, and renew high-ticket transformational programs and mid-ticket inside of your unique gyms and fitness studios, and even for online coaching programs. Today, we're going to focus on step 2, which is sell. Last week, on the last episode, we taught you how to build out a portion of your high-ticket program. Step 2, sell. We're specifically going to talk about the mindset that you need to develop to sell high-ticket transformational offers, which many people are terrified of. Fitness professionals in general hate selling, and high-ticket sales especially terrifies them. No one wants to be the pushy salesman that hard closes. It just isn't something that most people are passionate about. But the great news is that you shouldn't be pushy to make the sale. And chances are, if you are, you're probably doing something you shouldn't. Sales isn't doing something to someone; it's doing something for someone. And the new rule of sales isn't ABC, always be closing. It is ABC, always be coaching. So listen into this episode to learn how to coach people into taking action, into taking the first step with you and starting a program. You're going to hear the exact recording that we did inside of our Facebook group, 7-Figure Gym Secrets. If you are not a member in there, you have to get in there, because we are dropping so many amazing free trainings and free resources and done for you things. You don't want to not be a part of this thing. It would be foolish. So join with the link in the show notes. Go to, or just go to facebook.com/group/7. That's number 7-figure personal trainer. And you'll find our 7-Figure Gym Secrets group. And absolutely do not, if you're not a part of that already, just stop the recording right now. Don't even listen to that. Just pop open your phone, join it, and then get right back to this recording. So enjoy this one. We're going to give our live training, always be coaching, not closing. I promise you, you're going to love it. And as always, have a great one. This is going to be our first one of the new year. So 2023, make this your year. If there's anything we can do to help you get there faster, we'll leave a booking link in the show notes. And you can connect with us and see if working with PT Legends or if working with Dave Rye is a good fit for you as well. So enjoy this episode. We will see you next week on the PT Legends Show. Our high-ticket launch 3-step framework, of course, right? So 3 steps: build, sell, fulfill, and renew. And then lastly, it gets into scaling. And this is with acquisition, marketing, paid ads, organic strategies, all that kind of stuff, people systems, maybe an online coaching business like we were just talking about. But today we're going to talk about selling. And the main thing that we're talking about today is, does high ticket equal hard sales? And Dave, you and I did a podcast episode probably a year ago on this one. And to date, it remains one of the most popular podcasts that we've done. Yeah. And what that shows me is there is a very big misconception that if you're charging if you have a high ticket program, whether it's $2,000, $3,000, $6,000, even $8,000, that you have to really approach it with hard sales, which I would say less than 1 out of 100 people in the fitness industry want to do or are comfortable doing. And this is how they teach you quite often. And like, I remember the big chains and stuff like that, like LA Fitnesses and this and that, like they teach you how do you back somebody into the corner and make them feel bad enough where they have to say yes and buy it. Anybody feel good with that? Throw a comment if you're like, yep, that's me. Yeah. I love it. Okay. Which is going to be absolutely 0 people. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. And Dave, the Kool-Aid man, is the master of this. So he's going to really elaborate and get into this. But like our whole sales system is incredibly unique. This is why this kind of works so well. This is why we're able to sell really high ticket programs. This is why we can take what you're doing already, which is giving workouts and nutrition, and we can sell it for 3 to 10 times what you sell it for. And people are happy to pay for it, and they get better results because they're paying more for it. And I know it scares the hell out of people to charge these kind of rates. But it is absolutely done with dozens upon dozens upon dozens of gyms around the world. We do it in our 6 gyms. We've got many people in PT Legends who have successfully raised these kind of prices and used our process. So in a previous one, we've kind of talked about running your business like a doctor's office where you're in control of that sales process. We've talked about this 7-minute discovery call that made us 40 freaking grand in new business our first month of doing this over 2 years ago. And then there's a certain way we handle consultations, which is a little bit different. And it's very, very, very effective. And it gets you in a position where you can coach them into taking action instead of backing them into a corner and guilting them into taking action. And then there's different pieces of that. The pitch. This is where you get to bring your heart into your sales game. Should be the reason you're watching this right now. The reason that you are a fitness entrepreneur is because fitness has made a major impact in your life in some way, shape, or form. And you want to share that gift with other people. Otherwise, you're nuts for getting into this business where you've got primetime mornings, you got 5 a.m.s, you got 8 p.m.s, you got Saturdays. Forget it, right? You do this because you're passionate about it. That needs to come across. And then the nudge. This is kind of like if you do get that, sometimes you get those objections to the people that are right there on the fence. How do you just nudge them to coach them into taking action, taking that first step? So those are the kind of pieces today. And really, we're kind of going to go over a little bit of overview on the back half of this. And really, it's like getting into the mindset of high ticket sales, what you've got to be thinking in here and the things that you have to be doing so that you don't see sales with a negative perception, which is what a lot of people do. They go in scared. They go and feel like they're pressuring people. Okay. And we're going to teach you exactly how not to do that. So you have the confidence going in on this. But first, as always, what we like to do is recognize some amazing legends with some amazing progress. And a lot of these people are newbies as well. Some have been in it for a few months. Shannon's been in it, one of our first ones. But some amazing ones. Dave, why don't you run by some of these things? Well, Will, we've got Matt Chenard. Shout out to Matt Chenard, who just took his Instagram following from what? Was it like 1,500-ish to
10.4?
10.4 thousand. And that happened in like a span of a week.
3 days, man.
Now he's got leads on tap. So goddamn, awesome job, Matt. Big shout out. What else, Dave? What do we got?
We got big hearted Julie P. $15,000, all online coaching, nutrition. I believe at this point, I'm not going to quote this stat, she's closing at about 90% of her. Started off as a $1,200 high ticket offer 3 months ago. Now it's $3,500. So exactly the same program, her belief, her certainty, all the fun stuff. She's a prime example of someone that showed up to every single one of our calls for 90 days. Very similar to Matt Chenard. She went 90 days with 0 consults. Then it took off. She made the right connection. She's north of $15,000 this month. So huge shout out to Julie. I think she signed up 3 or 4 last week. Yeah.
That's insane. And yeah, guys, so she is not experienced at all. She just started this a few months ago. And then she was originally charging what? $200 a month? Was it? I think something like that, which good luck. I mean, it's going to take you forever to get there and you're going to have awful attrition. And yeah, high ticket was the way to go. And she had no leads when she started with us too.
Yep.
So that's amazing, Julie. Like insane. And then Joey, where's Joey out of? He's out of
Croatia.
It's Croatia.
It's Croatia.
Yes.
Let's stick to Croatia. Joey will call us out if it's not Croatia, but
yeah, or was it Chris in Croatia? They're both like over there.
Yes.
We're terrible with geography.
Let's don't offend anyone. Let's just stick to Croatia at this point. But bottom line is, what's cool with Joey is he came from the 6-week challenge a few years ago academy. He prime example, he did not feel comfortable with sales at all 3 weeks ago. He's went through about 9 of our coaching calls, and now he's to the point to where it's really cool to see the $2,000 high ticket sell. But what's even cooler for Joey, he said the highlight was I signed someone up for his $300, kind of like his mini version of Tom Brady. And it's first time ever that he's handled any type of objections. So that was actually his big win. He handled objections, and he told the guy that he wasn't walking out. He's like, you're taking the first step today. So huge shout out to Joey. And then just let's sum it up. Shannon Logan, $10,000 week. Robert Gill, T. Hutch, Benny, crushing their Tom Brady offers. Benny, we built out his Tom Brady offer. It was right around $400. He had the same exact offer. We just doubled the price because we built certainty conviction, sold one immediately. And then huge shout out for Schwartzy for $100,000 in his first 90 days with us.
So that's new business, guys. $100,000 in new business in 90 days out of Orlando. And Benny's in Sweden. So guys, this stuff works all over the world. If you're like, oh, that's not going to work in my country with my culture, or it's not going to work with my demographic, it works everywhere. It works everywhere. If you've got the confidence, if you got the certainty, you've got the conviction. That's what today is about. That's what today's about. How do you get that? Because your success in sales is going to be directly related to how much you believe in your own product and your own service. That's it. That is it. And shout out to Jared. I think he just sent a message this morning. I think he did 11K yesterday. Yeah, I think it was something like that. $11,000 in new business yesterday. Dude's a beast. So that's pretty awesome. But yeah, guys, we've talked about in sales before running your business like a doctor's office, right? Where you're controlling the conversation. They're following your sales process. You're going to qualify them as a good fit. It starts with that 7-minute discovery call. We've introduced you, Dave. You are the Kool-Aid man. We've kind of we've shown what you have done. And then, yeah, these are people who are just learning and stuff like that, and they're doing insanely well. But yeah, I think, Dave, where do you want to start when talking about, like, do you have to hard sell? What's the difference, and how does it all work? How do you piece this thing together?
So we have to rewind the clock like 2.5 years ago now, like how this all started. So before we get into objection handling and just all of the kind of the inner workings of like how to handle the actual sales process, it all starts with, you have to have the moment. And what the moment is. And I remember this, it was clear as day. For me, it was about 2.5 years ago. And at the time, I was about 6 months into training. Shout out to Lynn Tring. Will, remember, he was my first mentor. So I hired Lynn Tring, went through high impact coaching with Xander Fryer. So just huge shout outs just across the board. Hired a guy on LinkedIn. And I understood the ins and outs of high ticket sales, but I still felt very uncomfortable asking for thousands of dollars up until I had this moment. And the moment was, I was on a drive to our Arrowhead studio. It was 4:30 in the morning, 16th Street and Bell. Scott, if you've ever got caught at that freaking stoplight early in the morning, it's like 10 minutes long. So I'm at this stoplight, and it was the day after our very first discovery call, and it was with a lady named Sherry. So had a discovery call with Sherry, and I just followed the script. So there wasn't really any emotion. At that point in time, we weren't even assigning the why homework, but she dropped this golden nugget when I was asking her, hey, what she's struggling with. And she was talking about how she just, for 5 years, she was taking care of her young child who was sick, like really sick for 5 years. So like that planted that seed, but it all came to fruit. I was at that stoplight, right? And it hit me like a ton of bricks. I'm like, people don't come to us for weight loss. Sherry's not coming to me to lose weight. There's something bigger there. And it was like the weight of the world was lifted off of my shoulders. I'm like, I'm not selling weight loss, and I'm not selling macronutrients. I'm not selling accountability. What I'm selling is it's a new lease on life. For the majority of people that come to see us, I would say almost all of them, it's all there. It's asking the questions to unpeel the layer. People don't come to us for weight loss. They're missing something. And it's our job as fitness professionals to pull that out of them. I went into the studio, and for the first time in my life, I did not feel like I was hard selling anyone. And I asked for $2,000. And it flowed out. And it was because I was having a conversation with Sherry that had 2 shifts to do, but not to do with weight loss. No objections. The credit card was passed over. Every single one of our legends, before they just have that hockey stick growth, they have to have that moment. So for everyone listening out here, like you might be like, Dave's talking about unicorns and rainbows. When you have the moment, guys, it will change your entire life. And ever since that moment right there, every single consult that I sat down with, like it all started off with what diets have you tried? What programs have you tried? But by asking the right questions, and it's one of our new gals, Jody, she said it best in one of our cohort calls. She calls it the arrow. And she's the former, like she was in the executive coaching. She's like, when you hit them with the arrow where they realize it, everything changes. And because of that, to tie it back into high ticket coaching, that's why I never feel even nervous asking for thousands of dollars, because I know I'm not selling a fitness program. What I'm selling is a personal development program to help someone live their absolute best life by focusing on health and fitness. And every single fitness professional out there, right? One of our pillars, the things that really define us, is our love for health and fitness. So that's the moment, guys. You have to have the moment. If you want to ask for $2,000, $3,000, $5,000, you have to really identify down deep, right, that people aren't coming to us for weight loss. So that's where I want to start this training off at. Did you guys have your moment? Let's start there before we actually get into some of the meat and potatoes of it. Like looking like after having this conversation, Scott, did you have your moment? Was it around the same time we launched this?
Yeah, it took a while because I tend to be a little bit more analytical, right? And even just when you can kind of get it, okay? But then when you're in a consultation and you explain the different options, you're so tempted to talk about what each package has or whatever it is. And this is this option, and then this is this option, and this is this, and you kind of lose this in translation. It's hard for a lot of people to grasp what you just said. And you can kind of understand it, but then like, how do I apply that? It takes a little bit. It takes immersion into hearing it over and over and in different ways and seeing how it's applied. So yeah, I'd say it took me a little bit. It definitely took me a little bit. And even because, somebody posted about their price sheets this morning, right?
Yes.
And boom. And Angela, hopefully you're watching this, right? And I'll respond to the post later on too, but hopefully you're watching this live. And, so she's got like at least one page. It looks like it spills over another second page, right? But it's just listing out so many of the different things. And I think this is the second or third time she's posted kind of like and asking for feedback on it. You don't want that in there. Like, they don't care about that. Really listen to what the problem that they're trying to solve. And then that's the solution. It doesn't really matter the details on how on this stuff. So it's really hard to get your head wrapped around it, because you just want to keep back going to, okay, so yes, nutrition and accountability this, but really what Dave is trying to say is that it's a symptom. Like
yes,
being overweight is and not having control over what you put in your mouth. And when you get stressed and eating, it's a symptom of something bigger. Find out what that something bigger is. Find out what that bleeding neck issue is, right? And you can help them with that. And it's like, well, I'm not qualified to do that. I don't even know how to do that. You will, right? You will. This is what we teach you how to do. And you do it through fitness as a catalyst, because there's so many things in life that you have no control over. No control over. You don't have control over how do your kids treat you, how your spouse treats you, who's your boss, so many different things, okay? But you can control everything in your head, everything in your own circle. And so the cool thing is they have all these different things going on. But the easiest thing that they can take up control of right now is their fitness. And so, yes, you're starting with these habits of the workouts and daily movement and starting, ending today with a plan for tomorrow on what you're going to be eating, right? and how you're going to be planning your day. But the thing is, you focus on that, and it's going to transcend that. People have stopped making themselves a priority for the longest time. They're just trying to get through the day. They wake up and it's whack-a-mole trying to get shit done and get their kids to school, right? And get to work and these projects and these deadlines. And then, got to get these last minute Christmas gifts and sent out. And then I got to take the kid to soccer practice. And then I got this and this and this, this. They're exhausted at the end of the day. They're snacking and then they're scrolling up late, on Instagram or watching Netflix. And they get to bed a little bit too late. They wake up, they're exhausted, rinse and repeat over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And then they're 15 pounds up or 40 pounds up, right? And their blood markers are shit and they feel crappy about themselves. And that's what it is, right? So you can change their lives starting with fitness. That was a long answer to your question, Dave.
That's good. No, it's good. It's all juicy stuff, but we're actually going to give everyone, this is a gold nugget. Like this is the line that I'm about to drop right here. It is a line that I have probably asked 100 times in my lifetime. So on the cohort call, I asked our new group of 12 amazing individuals, what is one thing, or let's just say what percent of people come in for weight loss? Most people said 90, 95, 98. The majority of people that come to see us, if you ask them, hey, write 5 reasons why you want to change, one of them will be weight loss. Okay. So this is typically what most fitness professionals do with that. Well, what have you tried in the past? What diets have you tried? What programs have you tried? How does it make you feel? Right? It's very surface level. And then it's like, okay, Sheila has struggled with her weight for the last 10 years. Okay. She's tried keto and she bought the Liver Kings cookbook and she's tried intermittent fasting and she's tried this. And then most of the time we stop there. I was guilty of this. 2 years ago, I would have stopped there. I'm like, okay, she's tried a lot. The transitional question that we can ask, right? Once we start getting a little bit of the data is describe how the weight is impacting other areas of your life. It's the best transitional question in the world because then that gets them to think. So if I would say that to you, Scott, what would potentially be someone, if I go, hey, describe how the weight's impacting other areas of your life? Let's do a live mock right here. Let's go back to Scott. Have you ever been overweight, Scott, or wanting to lose 15,
I've been
20 pounds?
skinny fat. Like I'm not going to get huge, but I was put it this way. I was over fat. I look like shit because this is before, right? This is before I put on any kind of muscle and stuff like that.
I love it. So you're not feeling good. We're having this conversation like, okay, you've tried some calorie counting, you've tried this, and then we've identified like, okay, maybe how long were you feeling like this before you found fitness? 3 years, 4 years, 5 years?
3 to 4 years, yeah.
Okay, 3 to 4 years. And then we get that. And that's great. And you're like, holy shit, like I've been struggling for 4 years. That's great. They're feeling something. But then if I hit it like, brother, like describe how that's impacting other areas of your life.
Yeah, man. It's like, I think the main thing is I just don't have the confidence, I'm not the guy who wants to, take off a shirt at the Cubs game. Now, guys, this is back me. Like when I'm like,
no, it's good. This is good. I'll keep on playing. Keep on playing.
22 or 3 years old. So
do you see what you did right there, Scott, though? This is exactly, they try to fight this. So just like you did right there, just like I did. I put myself in the 22-year-old version of myself where Ashley Crow broke up with me. I did this live in a room. I'm like, someone would interrogate me right now when I felt bad. And people try to fight this conversation. But, well, I don't feel like this today. So this right here, guys, what Scott just did, it's going to be very, very common. But let's just say that we touched on confidence. So right there, the way that I go into this process, he just mentioned confidence. So now I'm jotting that word down, confidence. So now I'm following up with, Scott, confidence, man, you've mentioned this like several times. Tell me more. And then you start talking a little bit more. Okay, the confidence, like how is that confidence impacting other areas of your life? Then it starts pulling into like, well, you've been single for a while. Describe how that makes you feel, brother, that you've been single for the last year of your life. So do you see, guys, like this is a prime example. Scott, you try to fight it. Every person is going to try to fight this. So this is the $1 million, like, guys, jot this down. It all starts with describe how it's impacting other areas of your life. From that, they'll mention confidence. They'll mention energy. They'll mention their kids, right? So let's just say it's present day, Scott, and you start talking about your kids, right? The second you say, Maddox, boom, I know where I'm going next. is describe, like, so you mentioned your son, like, describe how it makes you feel as a dad right now that you're 15 pounds from where you want to be. So you see, guys, like that right there, it's you pick the hot button words and then you dig into it a little bit more. Then it's tell me more about that a little bit more. Then all of a sudden, guess what happens? Just like we started this call with, we've identified that Scott isn't coming to us for weight loss. Scott's coming to us because he's uncomfortable in his own skin and he doesn't feel like he's the best version of himself as a dad. Simple as that, guys. Then, like, we won't get into the details, but in the heaven that I would build up, it's, brother, like, tell me, like, 6 months from now, you're 15 pounds down. You can take your shirt off at the Cubs game. You feel amazing, right? Yeah, hell yeah. How do you feel as a dad? Describe what your life looks like as a dad. Then I pull that out, guys. So now it's coming full circle. Scott came to me just like your end user does for weight loss, but we've identified that it's not weight. The weight's holding him back to be the most badass MFer as a dad. Then when I pitch the program, I'm pitching to that specific story.
Can we go now? That's so good. And can I pause and give a real life example? Because this just came up in our Facebook group. I answered a question this morning because Joey had a consultation within 6 hours, right? And if you've watched our previous training on sales, we teach you how to do this discovery call where it gives you a sneak peek. It's a 7-minute phone call, gives you a sneak peek into this bleeding neck issue that you have to uncover, which is what Dave's talking about. Okay. So sitting down for the consultation, you have a game plan. You know where to start digging on this. And I'm going to share the screen because let's see, it was Joey. Yeah. He's like, hey, I got a PC, a perfect consultation in 6 hours. He sent over his reasons why, because we give them homework to send us the 3 to 5 reasons why they really want to make this change now. Okay. And so he gets this from this guy. Hey, Joey, thanks for the email. Some of the reasons are to feel energetic and active. I am too lazy. It's affecting every aspect of my life. Number 2, to release some energy. Frustration is building up inside. Number 3, I want to have fun in Croatia. Yeah, you're right. He was in Croatia then.
Croatia.
I want to have fun in Croatia coming summer. 4, to look a little more attractive. Ha ha. He's kind of joking, but he's not. Okay. That's a defense mechanism. That's kind of what I was just doing. Right. And number 5, looking for some motivation to quit smoking totally as well. So this is what we do inside of our group too, to get you really good. Hey, what do you guys think of this? What do you think this bleeding neck issue could be? Right. So I got this morning. And I said, at the end of the day, if he's not living his life fully in this, right? He's sleeping in, he's probably eating like crap, has no motivation, isn't doing fun things, smokes to fill in the gaps, and he's disappointed himself since this is not exactly how he wanted his life to turn out. And his bleeding neck issues are here. You can see it. You know where to dig to get him to start talking about that. And I think a lot of this hinges on whether he's single or married, right? The pain points are going to be, it's going to hit him in a different way for what he truly wants out of life. Like to me, this looks like he's probably single. It looks like he's single and he feels freaking lazy. He can't get himself to do anything. He feels frustrated probably with work and he's got no outlet. And the fact that he's self-conscious and the fact that, he needs to lose weight and become more attractive to the opposite sex. That leads that because he liked to have fun. He liked to have fun on vacation, but he feels like shit. He looks like shit. Right. And he just doesn't have any energy or motivation. Like, is it worth the high ticket program for this guy to solve these problems? Is it worth $2,000 for this guy to solve these problems? Hell yes, it is. Are you kidding me? Right. The first sale you have to make is with yourself. So yeah, I told Joey to see if he's in this consultation, figure out if he's married or single, because that his vision could look a little bit different based on that. But regardless, if he's admitted these 5 things, he's aware of this is a bigger problem, and you draw that out in the consultation, and he's ready to be his version 2.0. So this is a real life example of something that just came through. And on this training, I wanted to dig on another one too. This is one that I did 2 years ago. And she sent over her 5 reasons why. She texted this to me before our consultation. And she talks about how she needs to get her confidence back. She's ashamed to leave the house. She thinks her family's embarrassed to be seen with her. She covers up in sweatpants and sweatshirts when it's hot just to hide her body. She skips out on parties and get-togethers. She feels that she's a bad example for her kids. Energy, constantly drained, perpetually exhausted. My mind, I feel like all I think about all day, every day is how awful I feel, how my body feels heavy and gross. Do you think that I had to hard sell her at all? Or do you think she's like, I am ready to stop this shit and start my new life? She did a $3,000 accelerator. Paid in full, split into 2 pay. I don't even remember. That's a 9-week program for us. It took no effort to sell that. None. Zero. It was the easiest sale I've ever made in my life. And guess what I didn't do? I didn't go into the weeds talking about what kinds of workouts we would be doing and why and how these workouts affect her metabolically. Right? I didn't go into any of that. I didn't have to argue with her on nutrition, on portion versus protein versus high carb versus low carb versus this for that. We didn't have to get into any of that because that's not why she's freaking here, which is exactly what Dave was saying.
I love it, man. It's coming full circle now. So number one, to sum it all up, you have to have your moment where you realize people aren't coming to us for weight loss. Then you ask the right questions, right? Just like I did with Scott, it's identify you're not the best possible version of yourself as a father. Now, the next thing that you have to do, okay, and this is huge, is you have to have confidence, which leads to conviction, which leads to belief that your freaking program is going to change their life. So this is that's as you put more and more people through the program, that confidence, that certainty that will build. That leads to the point to where I never feel like I'm hard selling someone. I know that I have not this system. I have the only solution that's going to get them to a point where they feel crappy as a dad to where they're feeling like the best possible version of themselves as a dad. So it connects, like it's knowing that people don't come to us for weight loss. And that directly connects to the confidence and the certainty and belief that you're the only answer. Okay. So now that leads to the last thing. And this took me a half year in a training dojo where I had another light bulb moment. Everything with a closer is fun, right? Like Leonardo DiCaprio. I love that scene in Wolf of Wall Street where he's gathered around selling the penny stocks and he's doing this inappropriate things. Like that's great. Like, I love that. My very first job at LA Fitness for my interview, like after the interview, Kane Atkinson, shout out to Big Kane. I haven't talked with him in years, but he made me watch the movie Suckers. It's like used car salesman movie. It's fantastic. So my first year in the industry, it was all about that hard sales, convincing Sheila that she needs to sign up for a year of personal training with the LA Fitness trainer. Like that was it. Rubbed me the wrong way. So the way that I viewed myself, is I wanted to get better at handling sales, objection reps because I wanted to be a better closer. And that still didn't really set right with me. My moment was when I realized I'm not a closer, I'm a coach. So when you have the moment, right? Like, okay, the investment into the program, Scott, is $3,000. Okay. Before, and I'm sure a lot of fitness professionals, you feel like, okay, now I've become the closer. It's the opposite. Now you get to put on your hat and they get to try out your coaching experience. So you have to have that moment to where now it's let's sit down and let me coach you into taking the first step. Huge. So it's not about the objection handling script, right? So when someone says, I have to think about it, like what to say to that is, I appreciate you wanted to take some time to get this decision right. What specifically do you need to think about that we didn't have the opportunity to chat about today? So that's what to say. But if I'm being a coach, it's how I deliver that. Like, dude, I get it. We're at a freaking fork in the road right now. This is a huge decision, Scott. Brother, what specifically do you need to think about that you and I didn't have the opportunity to chat about today? So you see that? Like I could have been the closer and just spouted off, hey, this is a line to say, but no, we're going to freaking battle together. Marku says it. We're in this thing together, baby. So once you take over that seat and you're like, I'm just going to coach you into taking a step today. If you do that and you learn how to coach, not close, you'll never have to put the gas pedal on. Now, I will coach them hard. I'm not going to let them off the hook. If someone is in and they just admitted they feel like a crappy dad, I know what that feels like. I think I've had that pain point. Hell, some days I still do, right? I'm not letting him off the hook, but I'm not closing him. I'm coaching him into take a step. And here's the beautiful thing with what we do now, guys, with PTL 2.0. I don't give two shits if they sign up for the mentorship program. Sometimes the stars don't align. Sometimes Christmas does happen and they don't have $1 in their name. My job is to coach them into taking the first step. And when you do this game right, you have a commodity offer. That's it. You're Tom Brady and your mentorship. It's really easy to coach someone into taking the first step.
Yeah. Guys, you don't have to go big or go home. Don't be so scared thinking you got to ask for $2,000, $3,000, $6,000 or it's nothing. And it took us a long time to figure out how to really make that smooth and authentic, where we can really meet somebody at their level with what they're ready to do and with what their budget is. Now, it's going to be prepared. Your average sale is going to be multiple times what it is now, regardless. But not only are you going to be really freaking comfortable with that, your client is going to be very comfortable with that. And even if they go with your high ticket full on mentorship option, okay, they are going to be glad to spend that money.
Yes.
It's not something where they go and like, oh my God, I can't believe I just got, I'm pressured into doing it. That's not what it's like. And that's what we are so afraid of. And it's just an amazing, genuine conversation that you're going to learn how to have and how to coach them in taking the first step. And whatever that first right step is to them, that's what you do. It's not as intimidating as you think, I can promise you. It's going to be less intimidating than what you've learned somewhere else.
It's so much more powerful when you take someone's card and maybe they barely have $3,000 in the name and you're typing it in the mind body, right? And it's my favorite part. You hand them the card back and they're like literally crying. They're saying, thank you. Then you get up and you hug them. That doesn't freaking happen with an Orange Theory membership. Thanks a lot, brother.
No.
I can't wait to come and get in the orange zone. No, it's like, we're changing your freaking life. They thank you on the way out. It's the opposite of hard sales.
Thank you for bringing that up, because that's something so many of our legends have told us. Like, they're crying and hugging them and thanking them after they just gave you their credit card to run it for $2,000 or $3,000. That's the kind of experience that you want. That's the kind of experience that you need. And I know that sounds crazy to some of you who have never had that experience before, but it happens all the time. All the time. They'll give you $2,000 or $3,000 and they'll be hugging you and thanking you so much, because you're the start of their new life. You're going to help them get control and make themselves a priority again after 18 years.
3 steps. Have your freaking moment, guys. Like, marinate on it today. People don't come to us for fitness. They come to us because there's a bigger issue there. And what our job is to have the conversation and say, we're going to live your best life through fitness. You have to have your moment, first and foremost. Second one, have an offer that we said it last week that you die for. The belief, the certainty, and conviction will allow you to have the conversation and coach them into taking action, which is the third step. Become a coach, not a closer. If you do that, A, B, and C, you will print money. It's as simple as that.
Absolutely. I love it. I think we can revise Glengarry Glen Ross. Instead of ABC, always be closing. ABC, always be coaching.
Yes. That's it, baby. That's it. That's it.
I think we need to do a mock, I think we need to do a commercial on that one. Like shoot a few scenes with some brass balls.
That gives me some good ideas for Facebook ads right there. That's perfect.
Yeah.
There you go. Honestly, yeah. I mean, for me, that was one of my biggest epiphany moments too. Like exactly what you just said, Dave, but in a different way. You're actually not selling anything. You're leading them into making the best decision for themselves. Like that's what you're doing. You're not selling anything. You're leading them to make the best decision for themselves. And maybe sometimes, maybe that's not going on with your program sometimes, but more times than not, it is. And that's the way you got to look at it, 100%.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I mean, the goal of you sitting down with them is to have them take action in some way, shape, or form.
That's it.
And just like you said, Will, it's more than likely it's going to be with you in one of your programs, but sometimes it might not be. Sometimes they need to start somewhere else, and that's okay too. But the bottom line is you're going to get them to take action, which means a yes or a no. Taking the first step is yes or no. The first step is not a maybe. The first step is not an I need to think about it. So when you encounter that, which you inevitably will, you're going to need to know how to handle that. Because maybe it's just not, when you have these kind of bleeding neck issues, right, with what we've talked about, maybe it's not an option that's on the table. So you need to get them to make a commitment to take that first step forward, even if it's not with you, right? But don't, that's one of the things we'll teach you how to do, is not get the maybes. Because those ones, we didn't do our job as a coach. We didn't confront the real issue when we let them slide on something like that.
That's worse than a no. Maybes.
It is.
What do you do with that?
It is. It absolutely is. It's I know I should change. I know I just had my first heart attack, but I really do like the food that I'm eating. So maybe I'll start something next month. Like, no, that's not an option on the table. So we'll get into that more in depth in future sales trainings, Dave, I'm sure, right?
For sure.
Yeah. We'll tackle some of those objections that you get. And when you get a maybe, what do you do in that instance? How do you handle that? How do you tackle that? And how do you not accept a bullshit answer? Right? How do you be a good coach and not accept a bullshit answer? Because you guys have clients now who you're trying to help lose weight or do this or do that, and they're fighting you tooth and nail every step of the way. And we just kind of like accept it. But we do have to confront the real stuff. We got to tie it into the more important things in order for you to be a good coach. ABC, always be coaching. Love it. Any other last thoughts, Dave?
No, that's it, guys. Like it's especially this time of year. Like it's the greatest time of year, but for a lot of people out there, they're really sad. So my bonus homework assignment for everybody on here, we're going really long today, but this is a golden freaking nugget. So I have 30 minutes in my schedule. I do it every single day. It's called relationship deposits. So I text or audio message 3 to 5 people in my life. Sometimes it's my grandma, sometimes it's my mom, checking in and see how she's doing. Sometimes it's a former client. And this just goes to show you the power of this, right? I messaged one of our old G clients, Oliver, yesterday, Arrowhead client. Texted him. I didn't say, hey, Oliver, how's your fitness going? I said, dude, his before and after photo popped up in my iPhone, like one of the memories. The guy got shredded in 9 weeks. I'm like, and I sent him that photo, and it's just kindness of my heart. And I said, big dog, check out your before and after photo, dude. Hope you and the family are doing amazing. Merry Christmas. He responds back 5 minutes later, Dave, I've been meaning to touch base with you. My father-in-law is looking to get in shape, and I want to get him the 63-day transformation for a Christmas gift, right?
Awesome.
$2,000 sell right there. And I didn't mean to. So my point is, guys, this time of year is the best type of year. I said it to my wife today. If I was an end user, if I coach the end user, I know there's $500,000 in my phone. For every fitness professional out there, this time of year, people are hurting. It's your obligation. I will make you so much money if you just do this. Send audio messages. Send audio messages to former clients, current clients, with no, I'm going to sell you a high ticket program just to check on them to see how they're doing. There's $100,000 in every single person who's listening in your phone. This is my bonus tip for the day.
Absolutely. Get on that. You can easily do it. So our next week is not the 22nd. This is going to be the 27th, eh? 27th, yep. Same time, 12 PS, right?
Is it 27th? I think it's the 29th. I think your math is awful, Scott.
Yikes.
29th.
29th. And 12 p.m. PST, 3 p.m. EST. And for those of you guys who really want to cut the bullshit and get right to it in 2023, how you get good at this, how you get good at exactly what Dave said is reps. It's reps and fine tuning your messages. Just how Matt's been working with Will on his content, right? and he's been fine-tuning. All of a sudden, bam, he explodes through, gains thousands of followers in a matter of days. It's putting in the reps, it's putting in the work. There's no shortcuts to it. You need that. And so this is what we do a lot when you join our PT Legends high ticket launch and our mastermind is we help build your offers and fine tune them, all three of them, right? Your high ticket, your Tom Brady, your commodity offers, teach you how to sell that, get in those reps, and then the same thing on fulfilling and renewing before we even touch scale. And when we hit scale, that's where we're working on acquisition and leads and paid leads and your organic content strategy. So we do so incredibly much that I don't even want to explain it all. It would take way too long. But if you guys are really ready to make 2023 your year and you want to work with us and stop competing and just start dominating in your market, comment, let's go. We will shoot you over a booking link to hop on a quick call with us. And that way you can learn more about what it looks like and take one of the spots because we onboard everybody at the same time at the start of January is what we're doing right now. And so there's limited spots in that. We don't fill that over capacity no matter what. So if that's you, comment, let's go. We'll hop on a call. We'll see if it's a good fit for you. Other than that, guys, we will see you next week, Thursday, December 29th, 12 p.m. PST. Thank you so much for joining in. And we will see you next week if we don't talk to you before then. Thanks, guys.
Dave and myself, Scott, would love to thank you for tuning in and listening to the PT Legends podcast. You can get direct access to us by joining our free Facebook group. Go to www.facebook.com/groups/7-figure personal trainer. That's 7-figure personal trainer with the number 7. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast so you can keep on learning and keep on living. Finally, if you picked up any tips whatsoever in this episode that you found helpful, be sure to leave us a review and tell us what you like best about it. Can't wait to see you on the next episode.